Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Mandy, the Handmade Homeschooler. I am a homeschool mom of two who also runs and has a handmade business. So today we're going to talk about something that is a little bit personal for me. If you haven't noticed, this video is going up a little bit late today because I was really sick at the beginning of the week. Now, this isn't something that is out of the norm for me because if you saw the thumbnail, I have a chronic illness. And a lot of times we have to make adjustments to our school to kind of fit when I'm sick. So what does my chronic illness look like? I get terrible migraines, and sometimes they put me in the hospital. Sometimes I have to go to the ER. I have to be on injections monthly and sometimes weekly for pain management and just for a preventative, and it can get a little sticky sometimes. Sometimes that makes me have to take an entire week to 10 days off because if I have a really bad one. And we're not talking about normal migraines here. We're talking about very accelerated migraines where I actually get physically sick. So I've been dealing with this for several years, although I've had migraines since I was a teenager. So sometimes we have to take chunks of homeschool days off just so I can recover. So I'm going to show you guys, if you have a chronic illness, or if you're pregnant, or if you're just struggling and down with the flu, I'm going to give you a couple ideas and some tips to help you manage that time through your homeschool. So first, what I do is I organize my school from the very beginning to be able to be flexible around those sick days. So what does that look like for me? For me, that means I'm not planning more than 2 weeks ahead at a time in my homeschool lesson planner. Now, for us, it's just a better idea for me to do that because sometimes I can be out for an entire week. Although it's not the norm, it can happen. So I already know that that can happen. So I only plan about 1 to 2 weeks in advance. I don't plan a month. I don't plan 6 weeks. I don't plan a semester. 1 to 2 weeks, and everything is in pencil. It is very important to pencil everything in. Now that means that when I get better, I can go back and I don't have to reorganize an entire 9-week semester because I was out for 1 week. So, just a little bit of common sense with that. Like, I already know that I'm gonna have probably 4 or 5 days out of a month that I might have to take off. So I can go back and we can reorganize, but I only have to go back a week tops. Make sense? So I also have the file planner system for my kids so they know where all of their papers are every week. So with that, it's just a file box and there is a folder for each week of the 32 weeks in a school year. Now each week, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 32, has 2 color-coded folders inside, one for one child and one for the other. They each have their own color. So every week I put in all the worksheets that they will need to accomplish and have done by Friday. So they know exactly where all of their worksheets are, so they can just go in there, pick out their worksheets, whether I'm there or not, they know that it's there. And most of the time, if I'm fine, I'll go and do that myself if we're having just a normal day. But if I'm out of commission, then they know that there's independent work in there for them. Which brings me to number 2 out of my 3 tips here, which is teaching your children how to be independent in most of their subjects. Now, some subjects, especially like language arts or, something like art that could make a mess if you have younger kids, obviously you're going to need to be around for things like that. But for some of the smaller subjects, like my older child, he can do history by himself, he can do science by himself, he can do spelling, and they both can do math because that's on the computer. So they really don't need me to hover over them for any of that. But they'll come and they'll show me like, hey, I did this, I'm done. And I'll look it over and we move on. Now there's different degrees of homeschooling in my house. If I'm having a great day, if I'm having a normal day, we school at the table. Sometimes though, I have to lay on the couch, or sometimes I even have to go back to bed and they kind of just help each other, or they'll just take the day off. And that brings me to my 3rd tip, which is helping your kids understand what illness and chronic sickness is like, because that teaches them empathy. So my kids are really great at being there for me when I need them during the week if I'm sick. They've kind of already got an idea of what it's like. So my oldest one, he is starting to, now that he's going through puberty, he is starting to actually get headaches along with me sometimes. And that's really hard on him. But because he goes through that pain, he knows partially what it's like for me. Luckily, he's not on the same scale as I am, but he does get these headaches now that he's starting to go through puberty. So, you know, he knows I'm going to bring mom an ice pack, and I'm going to bring mom her medicine, and, you know, he's really great at just taking care of me. And I love that because it teaches them empathy and it teaches them how to take care of others. So when my kids grow up, they have wives, and their wife gets sick, they're going to be great little caretakers. They can do the dishes, they can make themselves lunch, and, you know, when I have a really bad day and my husband's at work, I always have them, and they're always here for me, and that's great. And I love that we have that kind of relationship where the kids and I, you know, we kind of just all take care of each other. And being a military family, it's just one of those things that we naturally learned how to do really early on, was just take care of each other. So my kids are really, really great at that, and I really, really appreciate them. So those are the 3 ways that I really cultivate this environment to where if one of us gets sick, it's okay. And just know that there are going to be sick days in your homeschool as well. And there are going to be days when, you know, you have to take a day off, even if somebody's not sick. So I highly recommend organizing your school for those days, teaching your kids independent activities, and also have a list of things that they can do that are quiet activities for when you're sick, like movies and quiet games and things like that. That's what my kids do when I'm sick. So not only do they take care of me, but they know in the house, you know, okay, mom is really sensitive to light and sound, so let's not, you know, get out the Nerf guns and start shooting each other, you know, that type of thing. They're really great at just taking care of each other and taking care of me by being very courteous and polite when I'm sick. So teach your kids these things early on in your homeschool, and you will have a much easier time when you are sick as well. So I hope that these tips kind of help you guys get an idea of how to set up your homeschool at the beginning of a brand new year, especially if you're pregnant or have an illness like I do. And if you guys have any questions, leave them for me down below. And what do you do when you're sick? Let me know down below as well. I'd love to have some other ideas as well, because I have quite a few of those days sometimes. So leave your comments and questions down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.